Hello. For this tutorial, you are going to learn how to lay out a kitchen design plan on Chief Architect using their layout plan. This is an example of what your final product should look at. If we look at this, you will notice that there is a floor plan with dimensions. There is also a cabinet schedule that has a list of all the cabinets that are used in this design, along with two elevation drawings that align with the two walls in your floor plan. And if you notice too that they have numbers that are assigned to the cabinet schedule to communicate which cabinets are used and how they're laid out on your kitchen design. You also have the internet-inspired image that was used to design this kitchen design with a few perspective views to kind of give the client an idea of what the kitchen will look like based on how you rendered it for this assignment. Quickly did not want to leave out that there is this little symbol right here, and I will enlarge it to kind of give you a better view of it. This is called the room label. This room label communicates to the client which elevation drawing aligns with which wall. So for example, this says elevation image side B. If this says B here, it means that this wall is the view in this image, and this one says elevation C, which communicates that this wall here is this elevation image. To begin this process, you will need to have opened up your kitchen design floor plan. I have one already opened up for you, and what we'll need to do is open up a layout plan. So most of you will probably have a layout plan already placed in your folder with the templates all modeled out or all set to the pre-printing conditions. So I have a folder called templates, and I'll notice that it's a layout file because that is what I want to open. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to use the ArcB 11 by 17 size to lay out my kitchen design. And you guys can choose whatever style you want. For this one, I'm going to choose the landscape template, and I'm going to open it. And you'll see that it will give you a presentation layout. Now, do not close out of here, but you can minimize it, and what it's going to let you do is toggle back and forth between your kitchen design, and watch how I toggle back to my layout plan. Now the first thing I want to do is to bring my floor plan into my layout plan. But before I do that, I will need to add dimensions. So I'm going under CAD, Automatic Dimensions, Exterior Dimensions. And notice how it just gives me the dimensions of my exterior. I'm going to move this over. I do have some repeat dimensions because this is a 20 by 20 kitchen. So I am going to delete the 20 by 20 dimensions on the right and the bottom. You can choose to leave that if you want, but it will give you more room to work with in your layout plan. I am now going to bring this layout plan into, or this floor plan into my layout plan. I do that by going to File, Send to Layout, and it's going to bring me to this sheet. I'm going to send it as a 1/4 inch equals 1 foot scale. The entire plan, I'm going to hit OK. And you'll see that it has automatically shown up on my layout plan that I had opened up and prepared for this activity. Now you also see it has these features, first floor and living area. Now if I crop it down here, because it's a scaled floor plan, if I crop it or try to resize it, it will not resize it, it will just crop it instead. So I'm going to crop it to where I can just put it in the corner here. And I'm going to get rid of this little symbol by going to Display Options. And here you can see a list of all the things that is displayed and used on this layout plan or layout page. And I'm going to get rid of layout box labels, and you'll see that it will eliminate that label that was here. We won't need it for this activity. Now I'm going to go back to, let's toggle back. Oops, sorry. I'm going to go back to my kitchen, and I'm going to add the cabinets. So I'm going to go to Tools, Schedule, Cabinet, and you'll see they'll give me the option to drop this cabinet. So I'm going to put the cabinet to the side. Now there's other ways to do this, but this is one way that I'm going to demo here. Now on my cabinet schedule, you'll notice there's 3 columns that are left empty and basically unnecessary. So I'm going to double click on my cabinet schedule, and I'm going to unclick, see where they are, on code, manufacturer, and comments, because at this point I don't feel like this is the information that we'll need to communicate to our clients. I'm going to hit OK, and you'll notice that they have actually disappeared. So now that I have my cabinet schedule, I'm going to want to bring this into my floor plan. So again, I'm going to go to File, Send to Layout. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. I'm just going to hit the Do Not Show This message again, right? And I am going to bring this in as a 1/4 scale, all right? But this is where I'm going to crop it down. It might be a little big, so actually I'm glad I did this. I might bring it back in as a 1/8 scale. So let me do that. And it looks like I messed up, but actually it's good that I can show you a perspective of how it would look like in a 1/8 versus 1/4. So I'm going to delete this cabinet scale. I'm going to crop this out so that way I have the cabinet schedule in a 1/8 scale, but it gives me room to lay it out my floor plan so it doesn't look crowded, because I need to save room, if you notice, for my 3 walls, my elevation drawing, and for my internet inspired image. Now I'm going to go back to my kitchen design, and I'm going to use the elevation wall elevation feature. You notice I clicked on it, and I'm going to look at my kitchen from this view. And you'll notice that it'll have, as I mentioned earlier, the cabinet schedules and the base cabinet numbers. I'm going to File, Send to Layout, and I'm going to send it in as a 1/4. It might be too big. So you know what? For this purpose of this exercise, I might put it in as 1/8 because I have 3 walls. And actually, it might be quite the opposite. I think it might be too small. So let's go back to the kitchen design. Once I have this view laid out, I can always go to Send Layout, and I'm going to change it. Oh, it changed it back for me to 1/4. So now I'm going to go to my layout plan, and you'll see that the elevation wall came in at 1/4. All right, so I'm going to do this 3 times, but I am going to take a mental note of which walls I took the elevation drawing for. So I'm going to X out of here, go ahead and I'm going to hit no for now. So same process, wall elevation. There's my view, send to layout, hit OK. There's my other wall. Now I'm going to toggle back, minimize this, X out of this, go back to my kitchen design, and I'm going to do the wall elevation for the last wall that I need to communicate to my clients. Hit OK. So now I have my 3 elevation drawings. So I'm going to lay them out nice and easy and here. Now before I label these elevation drawings, I'm going to need to put a room label so I can tell my clients which elevation and which wall side they are looking at. So to do this, I'm going to Library, Library Browser, and I think we can type in room label and it'll actually give you a room label, but they actually have, oops, that didn't come in. They have a room label. If you can't find it that way, you can go under CAD blocks, under CAD design blocks, room labels. There is a room label specifically for kitchens. So I'm going to use that room label. You're going to notice it actually comes in really big, which is fine, because what we'll do is reduce the size and hit escape to get out of this. Now I'm going to come in here and put my room label on my floor plan design or my layout plan. It can be on your floor plan design. I've seen it on actual floor plans, which we can put right here. Or looks like we have room to move things over. So I'm going to put floor plan here. And you notice it has A, B, C, and D. Now I'm going to add a room label and scales to all these images, and I'm going to align it with the kitchen room label. To do this, I am going to CAD, text, text, and I can do this on the side because, oops, sorry, let me do that again. CAD, text, and text. See if I can, oh, we'll just type in elevation drawing A, and then I am going to add scale. And remember, we brought this in as a 1/4 scale equals 1 foot dash 0 inches. I'm going to hit OK. Oh, that's where it went. Now, I'm a little particular about my font, so you have the flexibility to go in and change the style. I'm going to change the text style to, and you can choose whatever you want, but I like the Chief Blueprint, and I'm going to bold it so that I can see it. If you notice, now I have my label. Now if I look at my label here, this wall is actually A. So if I can refresh my memory, I believe this wall right here is actually this wall here. So this label will actually align with this elevation drawing. Now I'm taking a shortcut. I'm going to Control C or right click and copy and paste. And I'm going to paste another label here, except I'm going to go in and change the elevation drawing letter. So this one, if I recall, has the door. This one would be C. So this will be elevation drawing C. I'm going to hit OK. Oh, I'll capitalize that. Now I'm going to paste. Oops, I'm sorry. I clicked on something else, but right click, copy, paste. It looks like it just pasted for me. And this is going to be, and I believe this is the one with the window and the sink. This will be elevation drawing B. Hit OK, and now all of my elevation drawings are communicated with the room label and the floor plan. I am going to add one more label here. So it looks like I'm going to have to move a few things around. And I'm going to label this the kitchen design. So this is the U-shape kitchen design floor plan. And remember, I brought that in as a 1/4 dash 1 foot dash 0 inches. Now, if you brought in a floor plan that was 1/8, then you would communicate that. So I will put this label here. Now we're missing a few more things. You need to import a rendered image. Now, because this is not an internet-inspired kitchen, I will use another image just to show you the process. I'm going to go back to my kitchen floor plan. Let's minimize this to kind of get this out of the way. So my kitchen design, I'm going to take a picture, not with wall elevation, but this time with my full camera, and I'm going to do a rendering of the picture of how I want it to be communicated on my floor plan. All right, so you should align your perspective image with that of the internet inspired image. So when I have chosen a camera view that I like to communicate my design, I'll go to File, Send to Layout, and this time you notice it's grayed out. I can't scale it because it's a perspective drawing. And I'm going to hit OK because it says current screen as image. When I do that, you'll see that it automatically jumps to my layout plan and how the image comes in pretty big. So because it's not a scaled image, we have the flexibility to move and to crop the image, well, not crop, but to resize the image without worrying about the scale. And as I put this in, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste another label. It's a little bit of a shortcut here. I'm going to double click and I'm going to label this as perspective drawing. And because there's no scale, I'm going to put not to scale. See how that works. All right, and I am missing one more drawing. So I will find an internet image to put in here. Now to import this image, I'm going to File, Import Picture. And I'm going to find the image. So here is the internet inspired image that I had downloaded and saved as in my folder. So when I open it, it'll have the same effect that we had when we brought the perspective picture. Remember, it came in really big, so I'm going to resize it. And this is not exactly the same kitchen. So it's just used here for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to right click, go to copy and paste. And I am going to communicate that this is the internet inspired kitchen. And if I want to, it looks like I have room. Knowing that this kitchen is looked at through this view, now I can go back to my kitchen and I can add another image. So I'm going to put my camera from this view to see if I can match. Now don't forget, this kitchen was not inspired by that that kitchen that I just put in the image, but it is a U-shaped kitchen with an island. So if you notice, brought it in, going to resize it in a view that's very similar. And sometimes with bigger kitchens, you can put multiple perspective views if you choose to. That is optional. And again, I'm going to take this label, copy, and put it here. I won't need to change this because this is a perspective view or perspective drawing. Now my last step is to go in and to change all the information here. It looks like most of this is complete. I'm going to toggle to 0. If you notice in 0, your floor plan did not disappear, or your layout plan did not disappear, but it's just on the 0. This is the template model. And you also have options to lay out another kitchen design in 2, another floor plan on 3. So the pages go on, but right now it's on page 1. But whatever you put on page 0, it will also carry on through the rest of it. So customer address, I will just put, I'm going to double click here and just put down for customer address. Right, so whatever you choose to do here, design for, now you're more than welcome to come up with a hypothetical scenario, but in design by, you should be adding, double click on this, design by, and then you should put your name, so put Jane Smith. And design for, and you can, again, client A, or you can come up with a scenario. So I would, this is not a presentation view, but this is your kitchen design layout. And make sure that fits within the box. When you're done labeling everything, I'm not going to be too worried about this. When you're done with all this, this is 1. Now you're going to save it. So I'm going to go to Save As. Now you don't want to save the template, but you save it in the dedicated place. So I'm going to put kitchen design 1, and you guys can save it as you want. So save as a layout plan, but I am also going to print my layout plan as a PDF. It should be all set. Now, because the templates were all set, but I'll show you how to make sure they are, just in case. You'll notice that the Qt PDF Writer is already set to ARC B. So it'll be that 11 by 17. So when I hit OK, I'm going to print in color because I think there's colors that can really make this look nice. So now our kitchen is saved. We'll ask you where to save this. When I save it as a PDF, and you can go back later and rename your files, but just to show you this perspective of how you can go in and save your layout plan as a PDF. And this is what we just completed in this exercise.